Hello, and welcome to another episode of Toughcast, the Untitled Podcasters podcast, where we talk about movies and get heavily off topic while doing so. My name is Andrew. I am one of your hosts. Alongside me today, my other two hosts, Steve.
Yo.
And Colby.
What's up?
Both my co-hosts appear in every other episode. In today's episode, we're going to be going through movies that we think are iconic and should be seen. The GOATs, as the kids say. Going through what we have seen, what we haven't seen, seeing how little we actually know about movies. And as always, we will probably talk about McDonald's, Mark Wahlberg, and a movie called Blade Runner, which none of us have seen.
What do you think the best Mark Wahlberg movie is? Like, if you had to pick the best one, there's a couple good ones.
Have you seen Instant Family?
No, that's not a good one.
I like that one.
Okay.
Okay. Daddy's Home 2 is like a guilty pleasure movie for me too.
Those are pretty funny.
Yeah. Go ahead, Colby.
Oh, my screen just completely froze for me.
Great.
So,
if you guys go for it.
I know it's not a good movie. However, it's hilarious because of how bad it is.
I know where you're going.
Transformers,
Yep.
Age of Extinction. Yep. All right. Come on.
Look up.
I think we found a Transformer. Nothing is funnier than Mark Wahlberg talking about Transformers.
Yeah, but it's not good though.
But it's good because of how bad it is.
Have you seen the other guys? That one's good and funny, and
I mean, it is. It's definitely up there.
Or have you ever seen Basketball Diaries?
No.
He's good in that. That's like a young DiCaprio, young Mark Wahlberg.
What about Ted? Do we consider that decent?
I hate Giovanni Ribisi, like the bad guy in that first Ted movie.
Yeah, he's awful.
I like Ted 2 more than I like Ted 1.
He's good. Have you guys seen Lone Survivor? He's pretty good in that.
That was
I haven't, but I've heard good things about that one.
More Fear. Have you seen Fear?
No.
Early Mark Wahlberg was different. He hit different back in the day. Now we lost Colby.
Yeah.
Andrew's really fuzzy.
Am I?
I mean, maybe just on my end.
No, it's fuzzy for me too.
I'm clear on my end.
Yeah, early Mark Wahlberg hit different. I don't know what he's doing these days. He's just promoting like a fashion line that nobody wears.
No, he did that dog movie.
Yeah, that nobody saw.
Nobody saw that movie.
Nope.
He was in Patriots
I don't think he's going
Day.
to be on any of these 50 movies that we talk about briefly here.
No.
I had my way.
So people know this list is compiled by things that we've seen or things we've heard about. This is not an official list by any means.
Nope, and there's probably like 300 movies.
Yeah, we have 50 movies on this list.
Instead.
Most of these Colby just kind of put on a list while he was at work. And then we rounded it up to 50 because we felt like that was a fun number.
Yeah, we added some.
So I will add one thing too. So I don't know if I can speak for everybody, but a handful of these movies I've seen parts of, or like I watched them when I was 13, 14. So like I might not necessarily remember it or have an appreciation that I might have now or, now watching those movies. So like I've seen like Schindler's List is on this list. I've seen that movie, but I watched it when I was like 14. So like between then and now, I might have a completely different perspective and opinion on that. And I might appreciate that movie so much more than I did when I was a fucking teenager.
So I'm going to share my screen. For audio listeners, I will be
the same way.
Opening a tab of a spreadsheet because everyone knows how much I love my spreadsheets with the movies on them. And I got check marks for the three of us. So this is going in chronological order. So the first movie, let's use this one as an example, Psycho from 1960. I have 3 check marks here. I have not seen it, so I'm not going to check my name off. Colby or Steve, have you seen this movie?
Nope.
I think I saw it once, but I really don't remember it, so I wouldn't check me off.
Okay. So that'll be the idea. Then we'll go through all these movies. We'll talk about them as they show up, what reputations we know about them, if we have them or not. And then at the end, we're going to look at what the three of us, all of us, have not seen and try to compile a list of that. And then maybe rank them based on how much like hype they have or how we think that they're going to rank based on if we watch them.
And then the idea is that we're going to watch them, right?
Yes,
Hopefully,
that's the idea.
I would like to get
Okay.
to that point.
And then
Like
talk
we said,
about
we'd
those.
watch Blade Runner, but you know,
Yeah. Because it's a little harder for us to like see what's in theaters, like all three of us.
right.
Everybody has
Absolutely.
such different schedules.
We
Yeah.
could talk about that right now too before we get into this if we want. I saw A Quiet Place Day 1 today, and I enjoyed it very much.
I also saw A Quiet Place, not today. However, and Steve, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it a couple weeks ago.
So I got to say, the cat was my favorite part of
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Movie. Definitely stole the show.
Spoilers for those who haven't seen it, and for anything on this list.
I mean, I don't know that it is that much of a spoiler, but
It's
yeah,
not.
there's a cat in it, and he's the best actor in the movie.
You have been warned.
Doesn't meow once. It's
Well,
crazy.
I know.
Not a single time.
We'll put a disclaimer at the start. This video will contain spoilers for a lot of
It's a little
movies.
cat.
So if you haven't seen
I-
every movie in existence, tread
My
with
favorite
caution.
part is when Joseph Quinn, like the Stranger Things Eddie,
Yeah.
just shows up by like coming out of the subway
Water.
tunnel
Which was
underwater.
kind of weird. It
He's
was
just
kind of
there
one
all of a
entrance.
sudden.
So
He's the only one too. Nobody else makes it.
no, I as Colby and Steve know, I jump scared concernably too much. That I counted. It was only 5 times during that movie that
Not
actually
bad.
made me jump. One of them was when the screen turned on, which just gets me every time. But when he popped out of the water, that got me and my friend who I was seeing it with. So I thought
Nice.
I'd share that. I'll have not, and I'm upset with myself. I have not seen Despicable Me 4 yet.
Nor have I.
I am a
I
huge.
saw it over the weekend.
I heard it wasn't as good as the others, but
It plays like a Minions Despicable Me movie. Like
that's all I want.
if you like the Minions and Gru, you'll be
I was
fine.
going to say, I have to imagine it's probably on par with the other ones.
Yes.
It definitely feels like they were like, well, all people care about is the Minions and Gru. Like we don't need a big story here. Like we just want to hang out with them for 90 minutes.
Sure, I just want to see the
So-
little yellow eggs.
Yeah.
There was a TikTok I saw. In a lot of my TikTok feed is just parts of movies, which could come into play with what we're like what we could talk about today. But there was an account that was putting up parts of Despicable Me, and when the minions were like talking, like it had it translated like for the closed captioning, and all the translations made sense. And I was so immersed with it. I have a problem when it comes to the minions.
Oh, the Minions are great.
I love them. Love them. Cool. All right, we can.
Yeah, I don't know what else have I seen. Have you seen anything else, Colby?
Gladiator 2 trailer popped up the other day.
Yep.
I watched it. I was so excited because of the trailer that I decided to later that night go and watch the first Gladiator, which I had never seen before. That would have been on this list had I not just watched it. I know Steve has seen it. Andrew, I don't think you've seen it.
No, I watched the trailer though, and then I also was very excited by it, and looked up the first one to watch it. Just didn't get that far yet.
I really enjoyed the first one. It was like 2.5 hours long, but like at no point during that 2.5 hours was I bored. Like it wasn't one of those things where it's like I'm 40 minutes in, I'm looking at my phone. The whole time I was pretty engaged. I was looking forward to whatever the next scene was going to be or whatever. All the characters were pretty interesting, so like I'm pretty excited for the second one. And it's been a long time since I've watched a movie and then immediately been like, oh, I gotta go watch the original or whatever it is. So I'm sorry, watched the trailer and then been like, I have to go see what the first one was or something.
Last night I rewatched Remember the Titans. It's a great movie.
Classic.
Left side, strong side.
And I watched it with my sister and her boyfriend. who had never seen it. And
Never seen Remember the Titans.
That's
What is
why-
wrong with the youth of today?
so my sister hadn't seen The Equalizer, so her and her
What?
boyfriend were gonna watch that. And I was like, oh, I love Denzel. And I was like, did you guys see Remember the Titans? And they were like, no. I'm like, all right, well, neither of you have seen that, so I'm putting that on.
I feel like
Uh,
Remember the Titans was like the only movie we watched in like school
yeah,
for like 4 years straight. It was like the only
Well-
movie we ever watched.
we did
Well, 'cause
that,
it
and
was-
then
it was
we also did We Are
sports and-
Marshall, so which is a good one as well. Which I had gotten Remember
Nice.
the Titans and We Are Marshall mixed up, and I was like watching the Titans waiting for the plane crash, just to see how my sister would react.
Didn't happen, did
No, it didn't.
it?
She was upset when the guy died at the end, but
Nice.
wasn't the same effect.
So wait, going back, what was your favorite part of Gladiator?
I don't know that it was my favorite part necessarily, but the
Andrew, cover
Final-
your ears.
final
I'll turn my speaker off.
the final battle was pretty cool between him and Caesar. I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. I don't know that that was necessarily my favorite, but the way it ended, I had never seen it and never knew what happened to him, so I thought that was kind of it doesn't happen with movies nowadays. So like
No, like
thought that was
Russell,
kinda
like
cool.
the main star dies. Like you don't
Yeah.
expect that.
that just doesn't happen. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I like the opening like battle sequence where he's like, "At my command, unleash hell," and like they just
That
like
was cool.
and then obviously like the helmet reveal in the middle where he
Yep.
like takes off his helmet and he's like, "My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius," and he like has his speech. Like
That
that's
was
like
cool.
that's like an arm tingly kind of moment in one of those movies. But it's also like a great movie because it's really long, but even the slow parts are like interesting and like they're like so tense and awkward and you're like, what is happening and why am I watching this and what are they doing? And then all the
And that's
set pieces
exactly
are
what
so
I was saying.
cool.
Like I wasn't looking at my phone the entire time we watched it. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that doesn't happen nowadays either. Like a lot of
Yeah,
times I'll just
that's-
put on a random movie and I'm like an hour in and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna check Facebook.
Even if it's
Whatever it
good,
is.
even if it's good, you're like, well, let me check something real quick and then I'll come back.
Yeah, but like
It's
I was impressed. Like I was into it the whole time.
Yeah. one of my
Additionally,
tops.
I went on a vacation recently, and the plane rides going to and from. Going to my location, I watched both the Mamma Mia movies. Had seen the first one, hadn't seen the second one, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, second one's
Um,
not bad. I've seen
No,
both.
honestly, I was thoroughly. I mean, I am obsessed with ABBA, so that won't make a difference. But coming home, I watched the SpongeBob movie in Italian, and I was thoroughly entertained the whole time. I actually had pulled up I was with Colby earlier today, and the scene towards the end of that movie when they like, I don't know if you've seen that movie or not, Steve, but
No.
they are like they die. They get caught under a light, and it like fries them, and that scene in Italian was the funniest thing I had ever seen. I was laughing so hard.
Is SpongeBob's voice is the voice actor in Italian just as squeaky?
Yeah, it's higher.
That's exactly what I asked too.
Yeah, it was like higher. I have the scene pulled up. I don't know. I don't know if I could share that and play it too, but maybe towards the end. And then after that, I watched Horrible Bosses, which was awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Didn't
it's
have
not a
time
bad
to
one.
watch the second one.
It's a
I
good
love Charlie
cast.
Day. He's one of my favorite actors.
I'm a big Jason Bateman fan.
All right, so let's start this here. All right, so the first movie on our list of movies, I've called it the Tupcast Goat List, greatest of all time. Can easily be changed from that. This is just kind of what we think, like I said. So none of us had seen Psycho. After that one, we have from 1966, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I have seen that.
That was one of those movies I saw when I was like 11, but I
Yeah.
don't remember anything from it.
I think I'm in the boat of like I think my dad watched this like a crap ton when I was little and it was
Yeah.
on, but I never like sat and watched it.
I
like beginning to end.
That was my thing. Like I know my dad has watched it on TV, and I've seen some of
Yeah.
it, but I've never like sat down and watched it either.
anytime that movie is on TV, my dad will put it on still.
Yeah.
So that's where I think I validate a check mark there. And are we going based on if we like and was immersed with the movie too, or just if we've seen it like in its entirety?
I guess I'm going based off of like I've sat down and watched it from start to finish. Because there's movies where like
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going with.
The movie's 45 minutes in and maybe I've seen the second half, but I can't say I've ever seen the movie because I don't know what the first half's like.
Yeah, I'm going
Alright.
with the same thought process.
All right, cool. So I don't know, and this is Clint Eastwood. This is the third movie in a trilogy, which I did not know for a while. But I enjoy it. I think it holds up as a movie. Any other comments on that?
I mean, it's a super recognizable title. Like,
Yes,
if you
definitely.
don't know any, if you're not a big movie buff, you've heard of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, even if
Right.
you haven't seen it.
2001: A Space Odyssey from 1968.
I watched that one during like the height of the pandemic
Okay.
because like I knew it was like an event movie, like everyone needs to see this. So I watched it and like it was like mind bending how good it was and like how good it looked visually and like how it represented like the pandemic time in 1968. Like it was almost eerie to watch during that time. And like there's like it's super long too, but it's really
good. I was gonna say I want to say I feel like they showed us this in. Is everything good?
Yeah, your screen just went like black, like the chart.
like black bars
I see
over.
it. That's all it is on mine there. All right, I'm back now.
There you go.
I was gonna say, I feel like we watched this, and I could be mistaking this with another movie in science class when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, but I don't remember. Maybe again because it's long.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like 3 movies in one because you start.
That's right.
And it's
that sounds right.
It's like a silent film for like 30 minutes. Like the first dialogue is like 30 to 35 minutes in, and then you go to space, and then there's like a whole trippy sequence where like you come out of space at the end of the movie. So it's almost like 3 separate movies broken down, and like it's just like for a 1968 movie when I saw it 4 years ago, I was like, whoa, like this still looks and feels as good if it was being made now.
Okay.
I've only ever seen the iconic intro to that movie.
Yeah, with the monolith.
The monkeys or whatever.
Yeah.
The monolith. Yeah, I've only ever seen that. I've never actually watched anything other than that.
It's really good. It's really creepy. It's almost like a horror movie.
Yeah. I don't know why it keeps doing this. I keep going between tabs so I can see you guys. So I'll just keep this one open.
We're still here.
Once I get it back.
I promise.
If I get it back.
Oh no.
Does anyone remember what the last...
Let me refresh. I just see an empty screen.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just blank.
Yep, still blank.
Blank for you. Is it...
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Well, I could just, not share it and then have you guys be in suspense if we want.
No.
Okay, well, I was just giving my options. Next one is Once Upon a Time in the West from 1968 as well.
Never
I don't even know what that is.
No.
Is that Clint Eastwood?
I don't know.
I feel like a moron for asking.
Disclosure. I had just randomly looked up, like, I went through like 4 or 5 different lists that were like must-see movies of this decade, or I went through a bunch of lists that just had like top movies of 50 movies of all time and stuff. So that's where some of these movies come from. I think I might have heard of that movie, but like, I don't know anything about it.
Clint Eastwood's not in it. I just looked it up.
Yeah,
I got a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes though.
That was the other thing. One of the lists I looked at was like highest rated movies of all time and stuff.
So the description of that is: there's a single piece of land around Flagstone with water on it. In a rail barn, Morton, that's the guy's name, aims to have it, knowing that the new railroad will stop there. He sends his henchman Frank to scare the land's owner, McBain, but Frank kills him instead and pins it on a known bandit, Cheyenne. Meanwhile, a mysterious gunslinger with a score to settle and McBrain's new wife, Jill, arrive in town.
Cool.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
This movie's 2 hours and 46 minutes long.
Oh my god.
For 1968.
That's wild.
That's
Wait,
like 2 movies.
Where are you looking
back
at
then.
that, Steve?
IMDb.
All right, because Google has it as 2 hours 25 minutes. That's interesting.
Yeah, it says 246. I don't know. That could be
All right.
that could be full credits maybe, and yours is not. I mean, 20 minutes of credits seems ridiculous, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Fair enough.
I mean, 225 for a western back in the day is still pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
It's long today,
Alright.
actually.
So then
As
after
we can
that,
tell
we
in my-
have
Horizon that was canceled.
1971, A Clockwork Orange.
Never seen it.
Nope.
I've seen that one.
Okay. What's that one about? I have not heard of that one.
That one's the weird Stanley Kubrick movie. That's like Malcolm McDowell. You've probably seen that image of the guy like in a chair, and he has like things in his eyes that are like keeping his
I'm
eyes
looking
open.
at it now, yeah.
You've probably seen that image. That's from A Clockwork Orange. He's like this tough guy who gets arrested for being a thug, and he like goes to jail and has like a really tough time there and gets like manipulated by the system there, and like they try to break him into being a normal civilized human being.
Okay.
And it's just like really sick and twisted and weird as you walk through those steps.
Interesting. I have what we could do for movies that the three of us don't know anything about. I could look up the plot and just read what the Google hint there is too, if we want to do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine with me.
Colby, do you have any? Have you seen this one?
Nope.
Okay.
It's a good one though, and anything by Kubrick is like worth checking out because he's like super
Oh.
meticulous.
That's something else I want to add. Like, so we'll definitely go through the movies none of us have seen. Those are
Mhm.
definitely things that we want to watch. However, it doesn't mean that we won't watch some of these other ones. Like, at
Yeah.
some point, I definitely want to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Exactly. Right.
and stuff
Right.
like that. Like, don't think that like these are movies that because somebody has seen we won't watch.
I think I think our take
no,
on this too is we're trying to do something that the three of us can go into with like no prior knowledge towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
I figured,
again, like in the same vein there, I would still like to rewatch that.
yeah, kind of start with the movies none of us have seen,
Mhm.
work our way down to like movies that one of us has seen, two of us has
Yep.
seen, and if
Yeah.
we've all seen it, like cross it off the list and kind of like add a new movie.
Mhm.
So we could have like a revolving 50 movie list until we like work our way through it, which is
Right.
at this rate probably like 2037, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Right. That's being generous too. So after that one, we have, I think, a more known one here, 1972, The Godfather.
Yeah.
I watched
Check myself off.
I
for that
watched it
one.
once when I was 13, but again, didn't. When I watched it the first time again when I was like 13 or 14, I was like, this movie sucks. I was
Mhm.
like, it's so overrated, it's so boring, but I'd like to revisit it to see if I still think that. I might, but
I hate to agree with you on that one.
I'm in the camp where I think I've seen both 1 and 2 and 3. Well, 3
Yep.
sucks, but
Yeah.
I
that's why
think
it's not on the list, Steve.
I think 2 is better than 1,
See, that's
and I
the
know
thing.
that a lot of people don't feel that way.
That's not how my experience with it. Just so people know, the next movie on this list is The Godfather Part 2, so we can just kind of knock them both out here.
I've also not seen.
Okay, so I watched both of these. I went to Italy a couple of years ago, and on the plane ride there, I watched, because I was going to Italy. Both of them, and like
You're going to
similar
Italy
Colby,
soon,
like,
right?
they're long. What was that?
You're going to Italy soon, right?
I am not. I decided not to go to that because it was just cutting it too close to the school year.
Gotcha.
And I didn't look into flights, and I don't really think booking at the last minute will help. And I also don't know where I'd stay over there. It's just too many ifs for that, so not this time, but maybe in the future.
Next time.
Yes. I mean, I already went once this summer. But
Lucky.
going back to The Godfather there, I was in a similar boat where I'd only seen kind of bits and pieces, and everyone talks about this as like one of the greatest movies of all time, or franchises, except for the third one. And so I watched them there and on the plane, and I, like I said, I kind of struggled to get through them because I didn't really know what I was building towards. I know The Godfather 2, like a lot of people from my experience, like prefer that one to this original. I didn't see it that way though. I think for me the second part had too much hype. And so that kind of took away from it, which is I think the case with a lot of these on this movie list too.
I think I just enjoyed a young Robert De Niro
That's
a
nice
lot
too.
more
Yeah.
than like Marlon Brando and
So like
Al Pacino.
if you ever get around to seeing these in part 2, the guy who plays who was it? Is it Al Pacino who plays the younger version of his dad in the second one?
Well, no, Al Pacino is Michael, which is his son.
Okay. So yeah, that the actor for Michael plays him in the second part, which I didn't know, and did not understand that part while I was watching it on the plane. So that also added some frustration.
Yeah, De Niro was the younger version of Marlon Brando, of
That's
Vito
right.
Corleone.
That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Cool. Next one we have Monty Python and the Holy Grail from 1975.
Never seen it.
Check.
I feel like I have, but I don't remember an ounce of it.
I watched it recently because it was on Netflix. But I'm curious what the Google plot says, so I'm gonna look it up.
Some British humor goes right over my head.
Yeah.
Is this the one where he like loses his limbs?
I believe so.
I've seen that like as like a gift, you know?
Oh.
Sorry. You're gonna say something, Colby?
So my screen keeps freezing up like every couple minutes, just for like literally 10 seconds. But I just want to point it out. So if there's any point in time where I don't know how the recording will work, like I don't know if it records, I don't know if it'll bypass the the freezing. I think it's doing it because it's uploading as we record.
Okay.
So like every time it uploads whatever section, I think it like freezes up for a second. So if at any point during the video there's like 10 seconds of silence, that's what's happening. So if it cuts out for a second and it comes back to somebody else talking about something that you're like, what the hell, what did I miss? It could be from that, but it might also just disregard that and record in between. It might just be the way I'm seeing it.
I don't know if you're just like not talking and it's not coming through, but I haven't had any issues hearing you so far.
Okay, yeah, so it might not really matter. I think it might just be my end.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're watching the video and you see this red spot right here, that's a sunburn.
I didn't even notice that until you pointed it out.
It's because I wore my hat backwards all day yesterday, and I just burned right there.
Oh my gosh!
In like the gap of my hat, so I just have like a red across my forehead. It's great. Always a good time. Just want to point that out so people don't think there's a problem with me, you know?
The plot synopsis on Google for Monty Python and the Holy Grail says, a comedic send-up of grim circumstances of the Middle Ages, as told through the story of King Arthur, framed by the modern-day murder investigations. When the mythical king of the Britons leads his knight on the quest for the Holy Grail, they face a wide array of horrors, including the persistent Black Knight, a three-headed giant, a cadre of shrubbery-challenged knights, a perilous castle, killer rabbits, a house of virgins, and a handful of rude Frenchmen. I am well more experienced with the musical version of this, which is incredible, and it just like pokes fun at Jewish people a lot. There's a whole song called "You Won't Succeed on Broadway Without Jewish People," and I think it's hilarious too. So I think that's what also prompted me to watch the movie.
Nice.
Yes. Colby, you haven't seen anything on this list so far.
Well, he made
Well,
the list.
I was gonna say I
This
made
is
the
true.
list.
I thought
made,
you were
like,
making the list
a
with
good
just the
chunk of
top movies that like people should see, not that you hadn't seen. So
Also, as we're going through, so none of us have seen Psycho.
mhm.
Nope.
Psycho is $3.79 on Prime Video,
It'll work.
and then
Shit, I'm short the 79 cents actually. Maybe
I
not.
can spot you, buddy. Don't worry.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look up the ones we like. None of us have seen
Mhm.
as we go, just to see what the access point is. So yeah, we would have to pay for Psycho.
Okay. So then after Monty Python and the Holy Grail, we have also from 1975 Jaws.
You've never seen Jaws?
I have not seen Jaws
Here's-
either.
Here's the
What?
thing.
I'm gonna check Steve
I-
off based off of that reaction.
I have watched Jaws like 10 times
In like
when
little
I was
chunks?
10 years old.
Okay.
Don't really I remember like scenes and like parts of that movie, but like I have
Mhm.
not watched it start to finish since well before I was a teenager.
Okay, I can
Like,
understand that.
I-
I thought you had like never once
No,
been like,
I've-
should I watch Jaws today? Like,
All of them. But like I have not watched them, at least the first one, since I was like 10 start to finish. Like if it's on TV I might watch like 20 or 30 minutes of it, but
yeah,
like I would like to sit down and just watch it start to finish as an adult.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I can
I haven't
respect
seen
that.
it. It was a movie that my mother will always tell me traumatized her generation. Given that it's based off of true stories, takes place and was filmed in Cape Cod, which is close to where we live, about 45
knew
minutes
that.
for Colby and I.
Yeah.
Near
knew-
the beaches that my mom would go to. I think that's justifiably concerning for her.
Andrew,
Therefore-
my mom would say the exact same thing.
Yeah, therefore I never watched it as a kid.
My
My
mom was like, when the movie first came out, we were afraid to swim in pools.
Exactly. My mom said no one would go in the water. Not without a bigger boat.
We should watch it like outside in a pool. So you have to like swim in the pool while you watch it.
Yes.
Would be so wrinkled after that, but I'm in. All right. Then after Jaws, we have Taxi Driver from 1976.
Never seen it.
I have not
This is a
either.
movie I've always wanted to watch, and I have never taken
Me
the time
too.
to do so.
This is one that I think we should consider because
Well,
I'm
none
gonna-
of us have seen it, so
yeah, I'm gonna look up the plot
It's
of
free-
that now.
It's free on Prime Video.
hell yeah. Prime Video coming in.
All right. I searched Taxi Driver and it's asking for my location.
A mentally unstable veteran works as a nighttime taxi driver in New York City, where the perceived decadence and sleaze fuels his urge for violent action.
Oh,
There you go.
But I mean, I've heard this is like a young De Niro. He plays Travis Bickle, which like that's a name I've heard before,
Travis
and like
Bickle.
and I've seen like you've seen images of him with like the mohawk. I've seen that
Mhm.
picture of him before, but I've just never
Yeah.
seen the movie.
I know that this
And
is.
it's a Scorsese.
I was gonna say this is Scorsese. This was when that controversy was happening a few years ago, where they said that like Marvel wasn't proper cinema. A lot of people were saying like Taxi Driver was his version of a superhero movie. So I've always kind of been interested in seeing in that to see what people say about that. Because when I had asked my dad about it, like I asked him if he'd seen that movie, and he was like, "Yeah, like that's something like everybody my age has seen." But he wouldn't have classified it as a superhero movie. I don't think that's probably because Scorsese and he's open about having like different ideals for those kinds of movies. I wrote this is a sidebar for that. My freshman year of college is when that was happening, and I wrote an argumentative essay on why the MCU was cinema, and I got a 100 on that paper. That was the final for my English class.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I remember I included a quote from Samuel L. Jackson saying these films aren't like movies is like saying Bugs Bunny ain't funny. You can hear that in Samuel L. Jackson's voice. Anyway,
I needed some more emphasis.
it's like saying Bugs Bunny ain't funny.
I needed the mother in there somewhere, but
Yeah,
it was
so
lacking.
sick of these motherfucking snakes.
so-
Motherfucking plane.
I lost my voice last week and I have it back now, but I can't go high pitched. So if I tried to go high pitch, I'm gonna crack.
Andrew don't want to crack.
See, I tried there. See,
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe not.
no, I'm not gloating. Next movie, 1976 as well. Rocky.
Never seen it.
Me neither.
I've seen it at least 37 times.
I know. I was gonna say.
I'll check Steve off
So-
on that one.
So, as an anecdote to that is when I was a kid, my dad only watched 3 things. Rocky movies, Godzilla movies, and Rambo movies.
I thought you were gonna say The
So that's
Godfather.
all I watched as a kid because I would, as we all know as children, you are not allowed to touch the remote. So
Mhm.
I just had to watch whatever he watched, and there was 1,000 Godzilla movies that all looked the same. There was 4 or 5 Rocky movies, and there was like 3 or 4 Rambo movies, and that's all he watched. So
In that same vein, I still watch Matlock every Sunday night with my parents.
So Rocky 1 through 4 are worth watching. You can skip 5. 5 makes no sense. And then you can go 6 is not bad. And then you can watch all the Creeds. All the Creeds are pretty good.
Well, how was Creed 3? Was that was the more recent one?
It wasn't the best of the 3. It kind of like the Creed movies kind of go down. They're not
Yeah.
bad, but like the first one's the best, the second one's next, and then the third one. I mean, Jonathan Majors was great in it because he's like
Mhm.
super jacked and looks like a boxer and plays the role well. But like, yeah, I don't know. It was a little too glamorous.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rocky was like a guy who lived in like the mean streets of Philadelphia and just like trained and like had to defeat the world, and he was just like this little guy. And like
Mhm.
Creed, by like the third Creed, I mean, they have their title fight at like Dodger Stadium. Like it's just like too, you're like, okay, like this is too like
Yeah.
highball for what Rocky is and what Creed should be. So it took me out of it a little bit. And like the way they filmed the final, like obviously all these are boxing movies. They all finish with a big fight. Like that's
Yeah.
how all of these movies work. There's like a template you have to follow.
Naturally.
Yeah, and like I didn't really enjoy the final fight. It wasn't that good. It wasn't filmed. It was filmed in a weird way that took you out of it.
All right.
I don't know.
Because I remember when that one was coming out, like we saw the trailers for it. Because that was at a time too where we were seeing a lot in theaters. And I just remember kept seeing that one, and it did look good. And I remember people were not as happy with it as I think they were anticipating being. But I was
Yeah.
just curious there. Our next film.
Rocky 4 is
Go
probably
ahead.
my favorite.
Okay.
That's when he fights
Those
Ivan Drago.
all of those movies are movies that I want to see.
Out of all
At
of
some
those,
point.
I've only ever seen Creed 1.
Yeah.
I see. I haven't seen any of them.
Well, what's good
Um,
about the Rockies is they're all like 90 minutes, so you could
Yeah,
watch them all
that's
like
nice.
in a
Please do
weekend.
a good
real
90-minute
quick.
movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's like Rocky. What's his opponent? Let's get ready for the opponent. Let's fight the opponent. The movie's over. Like
Love
it's
it.
just like a formula that's like tried and true. In like the third one, he fights Hulk Hogan and
Mhm.
Mr. T in like a charity fight, and like there's some great stuff.
I think this was also like when wrestling was like at its prime too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rip Carl Weathers too.
Yeah.
Apollo Creed.
My dad was upset about that. So next movie. This is number 12, by the way, out of 50. This is Apocalypse Now from 1979.
I'm in like the category of like saw this when I was like 15,
Uh-huh.
but don't really remember it or
Alright.
didn't appreciate it for what it is.
I've
Probably.
never seen it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So I'd
so
mark that as
the-
like a try to watch that one.
Okay.
Also, Andrew, Good point. Where this is number 13. We're 40 minutes in, and we have 37 more movies to go. So we might want to do some rapid fire.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea there.
There's a good chunk here that I'll just be like, I haven't seen it, so
Yeah, I kind of scrolled through a little there. All right, so Apocalypse Now. We're gonna keep that one blank, Steve.
Yeah.
yeah, keep
Or-
it blank.
Okay. 1979 Alien.
Never
I've
seen
never
it.
seen it.
Nope. All right, cool.
Which I
Do
feel
we
like is a
wanna-
wild thing to say. I feel like that's
Yeah.
something like I would have seen.
I'm a huge Alien guy. I'm just gonna read the description there for Google. It says, in deep space, the crew of commercial starship Nostromono is awakened from their crypto-sleep casualties halfway through their journey home to investigate a distress call from an alien vessel. Terror begins when the crew encounters a nest of eggs inside their alien ship. An organism from inside an egg leaps out and attaches itself to one of the crew, causing him to fall into a coma. That is a movie I think I would enjoy very much.
So here's the thing.
Hmm.
A lot of these movies I've actually purchased on Blu-ray with the intention of watching and have never watched them. I have the Alien quadrilogy pack right here. I have
Quadrilogy.
Alien vs. Predator. I have Alien Covenant. I've never watched these fucking with the full intention. There's 4 of them in this pack. I think I paid at the time like $25 or $30 for this because I was like, "Oh, dude, this is gonna be sick. I'm just gonna binge them on a weekend," and then like just never did it.
Yeah,
So like,
I've seen the Predators. I've never watched Alien.
I've seen Predator and Predator 2, but
Yeah.
that's it.
So, just for point of reference, when we were making this list here, Colby did say Alien in the rest. I only put Alien on this list.
And the
Also-
rest.
Also, Alien is Ridley Scott, who did Gladiator. So
Oh,
Oh.
it's our guy. All right. After the Alien, we have The Shining from 1980.
I've seen The Shining a bunch. Shining is like an all-time horror movie.
That's one of those movies that I've seen like chunks of, but I've never sat down and watched it.
Well,
start to
There's
more like a
one scene in
psychological
that
thriller,
movie
but-
that I've seen. That's it though.
It definitely that's like a we should watch. Like when we go to the one person has seen it
Mm-hmm.
section, like we should watch that one first because that movie
This
is
is-
awesome.
Kind of funny. I'm going through, as I go through every couple of years, a Minecraft phase. I think Colby knows where I'm going with this.
No, I found something in my Blu-ray collection.
What,
that
The
I didn't
Shining?
know No, that I didn't know I owned.
Go ahead.
I'll show it after, Andrew. You finish up your story
All
first.
right, I was gonna
What,
say in
Gladiator?
Minecraft, there's a mob. I don't know what you'd call it. Like a woodland mansion that spawns, and like the person inside it is like really like tough to destroy. But if you put a name tag on him and call him Johnny, then he's calmed everybody.
Oh,
He carries an axe around, so it kind of is a homage to that.
that's cool.
Yeah, Colby, what you got for us?
Was all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy?
Pretty much.
All right,
yeah.
guys.
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
I think this might hold some resale value.
Oh boy,
Sealed Fast X.
Morbius.
Oh man,
ho!
you actually
That's
purchased
Marky
that
Mark.
movie?
I don't. It might have been out of like one of those like $4 or $5 dump bins at Walmart.
Yeah.
And at the time, this was the only Planet of the Apes that I hadn't seen. So I was like, I gotta watch it. And I can confidently say this is one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. It's not the worst. Madam Web still holds that cake, but it's up there. It's pretty rough.
I see that man's face, and I just want to say, hey Siri, play Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Uh-huh.
Making
You
sure
just
Siri
made
doesn't
my
go off.
iPad start to play it.
I heard someone go, uh-huh.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
It was my iPad.
All right.
Gotcha. All right. So Shining, we've seen. From 1982, we have The Thing.
Never seen it.
Yeah, it hurts me to say I've never seen it because I know it's like a banger of a horror movie.
Exactly.
Is it-
That's again another one of those movies that I feel like I should have seen.
It's like embarrassing that I haven't seen some of these.
Yep.
So
No,
the-
I'm same with you. Same with you, Steve. Like I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed to say I've never seen Alien.
This, yeah.
I only saw Forrest Gump for the first time like 2 years ago.
Really.
I just don't.
had to
I'm not
watch
a big
that in
Tom
music and
Hanks
cinema.
fan. I think Tom
That's
Hanks
right.
is super
We've
overrated.
gone over this. Yeah.
I got shot in the butt talks.
I just don't get Tom Hanks at all.
So the description for the thing: in remote Antarctica, a group of American research scientists are disturbed at their base camp by a helicopter shooting at a sled dog. At a sled dog. Sorry. When they take in the dog, it brutally attacks both human beings, and in the camp, and they discover that the beast can assume the shape of its victims. It's interesting. A helpful resource officer, played by Kurt Russell, and the camp doctor lead the crew in a desperate, gory battle against a vicious creature before it picks them all off one by one. Yeah, so I had never heard of that movie. I mean, I've maybe heard of it, but didn't know what it was about by any means. And that did catch my interest there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be incredible. It's John Carpenter, who's like one of the masters of horror. So
So, not to jump the gun on that one, but the next film is from 1982.
you can skip that one. None of
And
us
it
have
is a
seen
little
it.
film called Blade Runner. I'm just going to move to the next one from 1983, Scarface.
Never seen it.
Me neither.
I've seen that one.
Okay,
I remember enough of it, but I would definitely watch it again.
cool. So
that's
after
like-
that one, go ahead.
It's just really long, so that's like a commitment. From what I remember, it's like 3 hours. Yeah, 250.
I feel like that's a movie that gets referenced a lot.
Well, say hello to my little friend. Like that's like the
That would be
climax
why.
of the movie. So it's really just about Al Pacino going from like an immigrant to a drug lord over the course of 3 hours, and you just watch that play out. But it's fantastic. It's like Al Pacino at his best. So.
Seems like we have a lot of Al Pacino on this list so far.
Well, he was a beast back in the day. He's made some
Yeah, I
weird
know.
shit in the last like 10 years. And he
We
fucked up
talked-
the
we-
Oscars this year.
We talked about the Oscars in another episode,
So.
but that was just embarrassing.
Yeah, bad.
All right. Then after Scarface, we have from 1984. Excuse me, The Terminator.
We should change that to Terminator 2 because Terminator 2 is way better.
Yeah, but Steve, can I watch the second one without seeing the first one?
Yeah, because you don't need to know.
So Steve's seen this one.
Yes, well, I've seen 1 and
Okay.
2. Two
I've
is like
seen none of them.
two is
Put a
like
star there.
regarded as like one of the greatest sequels of all time. Like
That's what I've heard, which is why I want to watch them.
yeah. So you could watch one, but you don't have. I don't feel like you don't have to.
Just put a note there. Terminator 2 is better? Question mark. Uh,
Much better.
in the
You
right
get like
line,
way
too,
more
so-
Arnold, which is the best.
Oh, that's what you need, though. You never have enough Arnold. 1986. Platoon.
I've seen parts of it, but never start to finish.
I saw it start to finish, but again, I was like 16, 17, so
Fair enough.
I would put it as a no, really.
All right, so there's just a description for that one there. There's a lot of rated R movies. Charlie Sheen.
We're
Chris
adults.
Taylor leaves his university studies to enlist in combat duty in Vietnam. Once he's on the ground in the middle of battle, his idealism fades. In fighting, when his unit begins between two staff sergeants who believe the nearby villagers are harboring soldiers. Alternatively, another soldier has a more sympathetic view of the locals and ends up pitying the soldiers against each other. Pitying, not pitting. I'm dyslexic. Against each other as well as the enemy. Is John Cryer in that too? No, he's not.
It's Charlie
There's a-
Sheen,
there's a-
Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, Forrest Whitaker,
There's
Johnny
a
Depp.
military movie with Charlie Sheen and John Cryer that my dad had on like a couple weeks ago, which was a comedy. Wasn't meant to be taken seriously in the slightest, which seems
is
to
that-
be opposite
Was
this
that
one
Hot
here.
Shots?
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, the take
Yeah.
on Top Gun.
Yeah, that's like yeah, exactly.
Which we didn't put Top Gun Maverick on this list, which I know is we haven't seen it, but that's
Well, we've seen
We've
Maverick
also-
a bunch of times.
yeah. We've also
Never
not
seen
had.
first one.
I
You
still
don't
haven't
have
either.
to. I watched it. So when we went and saw Maverick, I had never actually like I've seen the first one, but it was like in and
Mhm.
out. I went and sat down and watched it, and once you see Maverick, you can't go back to the first one.
That's why I didn't bother putting it on the list. It was on a lot of the list that I had looked at.
Mhm.
but I was like, everybody I've talked to that have seen both of them said Maverick is way better. So I've just never
Yeah.
had a motive to watch the first one.
I mean, it gets the benefit of like 30 years of technology in between. So
Yeah, which plays a part on us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I remember that before we saw that, Steve, because you had asked me to. That was the first movie that kind of sprung into us going a
on
lot.
Tuesdays, yeah.
Yeah. And because I told my mom about it, and she had said that, like, when the first Top Gun came out, that was like, it was as big as it was when Maverick came out. Which, I mean, good for that, for holding up for it there. That's also what kind of spurred our Tom Cruise obsession we have too. But we're not talking about Top Gun here. We're here to talk about the next film, Goodfellas from 1990.
But you skipped Die Hard.
Did I? I skipped Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard.
Hey, let's go back one to Die Hard from 1988.
I've seen Die Hard.
Okay.
It's been a while,
Colby?
but I remember Die Hard. You own it, though.
Crap! Walmart $5 bin.
Oh man,
Nice.
that's funny. So that's a no for us too. We went to trivia once, and it was like Christmas themed, and every answer we didn't know, we just wrote Die Hard for.
Nice. Oh man.
You ever watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, not really.
That's a great show. The main character on that one they're cops. He's obsessed with Die Hard movies.
Andy Samberg or somebody else?
Andy Samberg's character, yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. And then after Die Hard, we have Goodfellas from 1990.
Nope.
That's one that I'm very upset to say I have not seen.
I've seen that one a bunch.
That
one's like-
Go ahead.
It's in like the same vein as the Godfather movies, where like it's an all timer, but like it's a slow burn type of movie, and it's really long. Like all these
Mhm.
movies seem to be 2.5 hours. It's pretty long for
That was one that my
a
sister
1990
watched
movie.
recently, and I mean that within like the last couple of years. And she was like taken away by it. Like she thought it was a great movie. So hopefully
Yeah,
that's.
this is like peak Ray Liotta. It's like his best role.
Mhm. After Goodfellas, we have The Silence of the Lambs from 1991.
Nope.
I have seen this one.
Yeah, I've seen this one a bunch.
Not Colby though.
No, I've never seen it.
Fun fact about this movie: what's his name? Anthony Hopkins won for Best Actor with the least amount of screen time ever.
Mm-hmm.
He only has like 20 minutes of screen time in the whole movie, but he's just like, every time he's on screen, you want to like move further away from the TV.
So,
Yeah.
like, it's
No,
one of those
absolutely.
movies that I know a lot of through pop culture references, and
Yeah.
I've seen like some of the more important clips of the movie and stuff, but like I've never actually watched the whole movie.
Yeah,
Have
you
you
gotta, like-
seen the Hello Clarice
what?
scene?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't actually say that.
What? Oh,
That was a trick question. You failed. At least I could be mistaken there.
What?
Does he say Hello Clarice in that movie?
I believe he does.
I don't know if he does. I'm gonna look that up.
Is this like the Luke, I am your father thing, where he like doesn't actually say that?
Yeah.
yeah. That fucked me up as a kid, dude.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that totally like messed with me so bad. Like I remember rewatching Empire like 6 times, being like, I could have swore. And every time I watched it, it didn't happen. I'm like, I don't know about that.
They cut it out. He edited it.
I'm typing in. I was gonna say, does he actually say Hello Clarice? I would like just to read. I got that. Does he actually say the Google suggestions? Does he actually say it's Morbin time in Morbius? It's the first one that came up. Does it actually say gullible on the ceiling? Those are the only two good ones there. There were a couple others that
Yeah,
not gonna
with
get
Silence
into
of the
there.
Lambs, though, you have to like sit there and be in the presence of the movie, like start to finish. because it's just like uncomfortable, but it's so good.
So, Hannibal Lecter does not say hello, Clarice, in this movie. Some people say their memory may be playing tricks on them. What was that noise?
What's the next one?
Moving past that, number 24 on our list is Reservoir Dogs from 1992.
Nope.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
That's one I've heard of too. That like, I wish I had seen. Again, not as big on that one as like Goodfellas or other ones that I haven't seen, but that's one that I'd like to get around to eventually.
Yeah, that's a Tarantino, so you know.
You'll see there's a common thread that Steve has seen more movies than us.
Well, to be fair, these are like 90s movies, and I was a 90s kid. So, like,
This is true.
that makes sense because you guys are younger than I am.
Whoa. Come
Well,
on.
true.
I'm a 90s kid, too. Come on.
What, 99? 8?
So, what's it matter?
I was born in 1990.
Who cares? All right, I was around in '99. I was hopping around, man.
You know what's crazy is Kate's an 80s kid.
That is
Jeez,
crazy.
87.
That is crazy.
jeez.
She's old. She's going to be 37 on Sunday. She wouldn't want me to tell you that, though.
And now it's all here for the world to hear. It's all right. In 10 years, when she's listening to this, she'll be happy.
Yeah.
By the world, you mean the population of one household?
In 3 years, I'm going to be married to a 40-year-old.
Wow.
How does that feel?
Feels old.
You want to just go to the next movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's probably the safe option there. Right. This is not actually number 25. It's just listed that way because I have our title number there. But the next film is Groundhog Day from 1993.
I think Pieces, but I don't really remember it that well.
I'll put that one there. This is one I think we all know what it's about.
Yes.
But I'm just gonna see what Google has to say.
Global warming.
Yeah, I know Bill Murray, and I know repeating itself. A cynical TV weatherman finds himself reliving the same day over and over again when he goes on location to a small town of Puxatawny to film a report about their annual Groundhog Day. His predicament drives him to distraction until he sees a way to turning the situation to his advantage. That's just about all I would have said I know.
The hit Tom Cruise movie Live, Die, Repeat, or as it was later changed to the name Edge of Tomorrow.
That's actually...
It was like 6 weeks into release, and then they're like, people don't know what the hell this movie is. Or maybe it was the other way around. Whatever it was, they swapped the name of the movie halfway through its release.
Yeah, I think they made the first thing you said the tagline, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds right.
That's actually a really good movie.
It is. It's a solid movie. Emily Blunt, classic.
I love him.
Yeah, she's like ripped in that movie too.
She sure is.
So I just saw A Quiet Place Day 1 with no Emily Blunt. I thought she would make a peek in it somewhere.
I know, it's a little sad. Like, no Krasinski, no Blunt, and the third one made it a little weird.
But we did get a cat.
We did get a cat.
Maybe that
Steve,
was
have you seen the
Krasinski.
first two Quiet Places? Not to derail this, but
Yeah, I've seen all three, and you guys have seen 1 and 2
separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the first one. Colby saw the second one. My friend who I saw it with today hadn't seen either. But it was a prequel, so.
Nice.
Is the second one, is it a prequel? Because I know John Krasinski's in it at the beginning. I don't know if that's just a
No, it's
flashback.
like a flashback.
Okay, yeah. So I've seen that scene, but that's it there. I wouldn't be opposed to putting that on this list too. I wouldn't say it's the greatest of all time, but it's a very good movie. All right, so now number 25. So we are halfway through our list here. Well, we had a lot of jibber jabber at the beginning too, so I think we're moving along okay for this here. The next movie is Schindler's List.
Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it's one I saw when I was like 13.
Mhm.
I feel like I thought it was really good when I saw it, but like I feel like I'll have a greater appreciation for it watching it now.
I feel like this is like a school movie that I never saw, and I just like there's never a good time to put on like a German Nazi war. Like it's just like, do I want to watch Schindler's List right now? Probably not.
I'm
Like,
gonna bold that
let's
one.
find something else.
Yeah,
So I've just never watched it. Plus, it's 3 hours and 15 minutes.
yeah. So
yeah, I mean, it definitely it's a long movie. It is a hard movie to watch, not because it sucks, but because of the content that it's for, or that it's made of. But I think it's one of those movies that like it's something that everybody should, I think, see once.
yeah. So I haven't seen it, so hopefully maybe I will see it, barring how this list goes here. Next one, 1994, Forrest Gump.
I have seen that one.
I have also seen that one. Steve?
I have that one. I have seen that one, and it's over.
See,
That is the
overrated.
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 I had actually put that on the list because I was like, for some reason, I feel like one of you guys might not have seen that movie.
Yeah,
And
only
Did I
start
even
reading.
suggest
would have
this
been
movie?
that guy.
I think I might have suggested
you?
this one. I texted. Yeah, because I thought this movie was like movies that everyone considers the greatest of all time.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
And
Then
I mean, I would say it's also overrated.
it is way overrated.
But it's not. But as I say, but it's not a bad movie.
It's a good movie for sure.
Yeah,
but it is
yeah,
way overrated.
I agree there. I hear the haven't read the book. I probably will never read the book in my life, but I hear the
Do you
book's good.
know there was a book?
It's based on a book. He becomes the president at one point in the book.
Like
That's
the actual
fucking
president.
insane.
Yeah, I think so.
It's literally insane.
No, thanks.
Can I stay quiet on that topic? Next movie, 1994, The Shawshank Redemption. One of
Nope.
my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Too.
Never seen it.
That's one I would. It's long. I don't know why I bold that. That's one that I would watch, and anytime it's on, I'll put it on.
Yeah, I feel like that's a movie where, like, I mean, you don't really scan cable anymore or TV, but like
Mhm.
when you did and you saw it, even if it was halfway through, you were like, "Well, I'll watch the end of it."
So that was how I got into it. Like, my mom had turned it on. She's like, "Have you ever seen this?" And I was like, "No." And she told me what it was about. I was like, "Yeah, I'll watch some of it." And then I forget what part it was, but I was just glued to it. And then again, I just watched like random movies on planes. I had a long plane ride. I had time to kill. And that's the only movie I've watched from beginning to end on a plane that I was invested in the whole time. And
Good one.
where Colby hasn't seen it, I feel bad hyping it up so much because I don't want to take away from it. But it is a great movie.
Great. Now it's not even going to be that good.
Yep, probably.
You get like
right.
awesome Morgan Freeman narration.
Oh my god.
I know, that's all I needed.
Andy Dufresne is a friend of mine. Next is Braveheart from 1995.
Nope.
Steve, have you
I've seen
seen
this
that
one.
one? Yeah. You had suggested that one, I think, before we
Yeah,
even
it's a
started.
banger. I would watch that again because it's been a while, but I have seen it a couple times.
Okay.
This is like peak Mel Gibson.
We're getting into the stuff now that I think Colby and I might have more familiarity with.
Except for the next one.
Yeah, except for the next one, which I have not seen, which is 7 from 1995.
This is an all-timer. Like, you should watch as soon as possible. So this is like a Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman. They're like a cop team, and they're investigating a murderer, and they're trying to find the murderer. And it's called 7 because the murderer kills in order of the 7 deadly sins.
Huh? Oh.
And it's like sick and twisted, and it's just like awesome.
If I can watch that one on the plane,
That's a
that.
banger. That's where you get the all-time line, "What's in the box?" from Brad
Just
Pitt.
like
I'm
that?
sure you've seen that in some
Yes.
way, shape, or
I'm
form.
familiar with that.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. After that, we
watch that.
have
soon.
1997 breakout movie for Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Good Will Hunting, which I
Never
have not
seen it.
seen.
Filmed in Boston.
Mm-hmm. Steve, have you seen it?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
So, incidentally, I was looking up today because I was listening to another film podcast and they were reviewing the 2002 hit movie Daredevil, starring Ben Affleck. And I looked him up, and if you look up Ben Affleck or Matt Damon, you know how like they have like spouse, children stuff.
Mhm.
They both have best friend, and they have each other listed for that.
Amazing.
I thought that was
That's
the coolest thing. There's
Pretty funny.
and where the three of us are all Massachusetts based, I think I don't know if that makes any difference to it or not, but the college that all three of us went to did a play a couple of years ago called Matt and Ben, and it was the story of them writing Good Will Hunting and like putting it on, and it was really good. It was very interesting. So yeah, there's that there. Let's see. After that, we have 1998, The Big Lebowski.
I've
which I
seen
have
that
not
one.
seen. You
Yeah,
have
but-
seen?
Yeah, with the dude.
Okay. That's right.
It's just like a hangout comedy. Not a
Nice,
lot to it.
nice.
But it's Jeff Bridges.
Mhm.
He's the dude. And it's great. It's funny. John Goodman's in it.
I put that one on the list because that's one of the movies that Cassie's been trying to get me to watch for years now.
Yeah.
But I just
Mhm.
have not because they haven't wanted to, just haven't gotten around to watching it. But
Yeah,
I
it's
do
like
watch
it's just
it.
like a stoner comedy with Jeff Bridges, basically. It's fun. It's a fun
Cool.
watch.
So I'm gonna I just gotta run because my laptops might die soon. So I have not seen a good chunk of the next one. So you guys can talk about them if you want. And then I'm just gonna run and grab my charger while you do that.
Yeah.
We
I'll
get a
keep the screen
vamp
open.
while you're gone? However well we do that.
Godspeed.
He gets up, there's not wearing pants.
Oh, we're that kind of live show now. Oh, we're not live, but
No.
we have to charge for that though.
Wait, so while he's not here, when are we going to see Daredevil? Or not Daredevil.
Talk about all this time.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
So, when does it come out?
I think next weekend.
Next weekend.
So are you working like 12 hours Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yes. Which means I'll be out and ready to go by like 5-ish.
On those days?
Yeah, we could. It would just have to be like a 6 or 7 o'clock movie.
That's fine.
But I'm down. I'm down to do it.
Where's the place you work? Quincy, right?
Quincy.
Quincy. It's not too far from you. No, I was wondering if we were willing to make the pilgrimage to the True IMAX in Providence for this.
That would be fucking cool.
Like we could, because from my house it's 2 hours to there and 2 hours to the IMAX in like Randolph. So I don't care either way as long as you're willing to drive to Providence.
I'd be willing to do it.
Because we get the True IMAX experience, if that's possible.
I'll just have to, before I buy any tickets, just make sure I don't have anything else going on that weekend.
Yeah.
I
Just
feel
let me
like
know.
I
Guys talking about Deadpool.
Yeah.
feel like I don't, but also like I'm one of those people that people like Cassie will tell me I have plans, and I'll be like, cool, and then like
Yeah.
I'll forget about it until like the day of, and she's like, I told you about this three times.
Yeah.
So like, assuming that there's nothing else going on, I'm down. I'll go to Providence.
Yeah. We'll try to plan for the Saturday. Just let me know. Maybe
Yeah.
ask her and let me know tomorrow so we can get tickets.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Did you get a freeze pot?
No, I got mini M&Ms.
Oh.
Butter flavored.
Mini M&Ms are superior to regular size.
They for
M&Ms.
sure are.
I agree.
The
I don't know
regular size,
why.
like normal M&Ms, are garbage. I like peanut M&Ms, but like the
These are
mini
peanut butter
M&Ms are like
M&Ms. They taste just like Reese's Pieces.
they're superior in every way, shape, and form.
Also, Andrew, I will have you know that we did not go over a single movie since you left.
Nope.
All right, well-
we were only gone for like 38 seconds. So
Yeah, I expected to be on longer. Well, you guys were talking about Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some updates for myself. We can get to that later. So after that
Do we
we
want
have
to fire some of these ones?
yeah, rapid fire.
So, like, I have not seen American X, The Sixth Sense, Fight Club, or The Green Mile.
I've
All right.
seen all 4 of those multiple times.
Okay, check. I have not seen any of them either.
As discussed, I have seen Gladiator.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Steve, you have too.
Oh, I've seen Gladiator is like right up there with like Lord of the Rings and how aggressive
Okay.
and how many times I've watched it.
All right, Memento.
Yes.
Nope.
2001, we have Training Day.
I've seen
Nope.
that. That is like awesome Denzel and pretty good Ethan Hawke.
Excuse me.
Well,
2002, we have The Pianist.
That's another one I've seen when I was like 13, but I'd like to rewatch that one.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen it all the way through.
I swallowed that one. And do you have a description for that one up, Steve? Just
The Pianist?
yeah, I can get it if you don't.
I can grab it.
From what the little that I remember of that movie, I believe it takes place during the Second World War,
Yep.
Yes.
and I don't know if it's a Jewish guy or if it's just like a refugee of the war or whatever, but
Mhm.
he all I remember in my head is him literally sitting down at a bar by himself, getting a drink, and then going and playing a piano.
Yeah, it says during World War II, accomplished Polish musician Ladislaw faces various struggles as he loses contact with his family. As the situation worsens, he hides in the ruins of Warsaw in order to survive.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's Roman Polanski, which he's a pretty famous, weird director. And Adrian Brody, I've always heard, is like one of his best movies, so.
All right. And we are in our final 10 movies for this list now. Catch Me If You Can from 2002.
Nope.
I have seen.
Yeah, I see that one.
I love that movie. So I know Steve's not a big Tom Hanks guy. And I am not.
DiCaprio fan, though.
I'm the opposite there. I like Tom Hanks. I don't really care for DiCaprio. But this is the exception. I love him in this movie. Cool. Gangs of New York 2002.
No.
All-timer right here. Scorsese. This is DiCaprio, but it's mostly Bill the Butcher, which is Daniel Day-Lewis's character.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like every sequence he's in, he just like steals the spotlight. You also get like a young Cameron Diaz when she was like cool.
Nice. Have either of you seen What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Johnny Depp.
Not
that was
start
the
to finish.
That was the first movie I saw with
I've seen like
DiCaprio.
the first half of that movie.
Yeah, and like his acting in that is so good that I think I struggle to see him in other stuff after that because of that. Cool. And then 2003 we have Old Boy.
Nope.
Yeah, so this is the one I suggested because I've never seen it, but I've heard it's like an incredible movie. So from what I know, it's this guy. He wakes up in a room that he can't get out of, and he also doesn't know why he's there. Like he has
That sounds terrible.
no clue. He can't get out. He like just gets enough to survive basically, and he's locked there for 15 years. And then the door just opens, and he has to like figure out what happened to him.
That's kind of neat.
That sounds really
I have,
interesting.
Yeah. So what I have
It's
here for
supposed
the
to be really
description,
good.
it says Dae-soo is an obnoxious drunk bailed from the police station yet again by a friend. However, he is abducted from the street, wakes in a cell, where he remains for the next 15 years, drugged unconscious, when human contact is unavoidable. Otherwise, with only television as company. Then, suddenly released, he is invited to track down his jailer with a can't pronounce that word. That is simply stunning. So, that's cool there. None of us have seen that. I thought there would be more here that we had to weed through here. But, we're closing in here. Our 43rd entry on this list, Departed from
The
2006.
Departed.
Nope.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
This is a fantastic
Never-
Mark Wahlberg entry right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
This
I've
is
heard
again
I've heard great things
DiCaprio.
about this movie.
This is like 3 DiCaprios in the last 4 movies.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin's in this one.
Jack
Matt
Nicholson's
Damon
in this,
is
right?
in this one. Yeah. This one is, so this is another Scorsese movie, but like a different than most.
Mhm.
And there's so many. It's one of those movies that's so quotable because there's so many ridiculous written lines that the actors say. Like
This is
there's
another Boston movie.
there's like a throwaway line where DiCaprio, he's like, he goes to see his therapist and his therapist is hot, so he basically gets invited to her house and he's like standing there and he goes, "You don't have any cats. I like that." And it's just like a weird line, but you're like, that's funny. Like that's just a great line in a movie. Somebody wrote that line and he executed it flawlessly. It's just great. So you should watch that. It's great.
That's funny. I like that.
don't
After
have
The
any
Departed, we
cats.
had The Prestige from 2006 as well.
I've seen that one.
Nope.
No, me neither.
That's a Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale joint about magic.
I was gonna say that's a Christopher Nolan movie, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Did you guys see they put out the soundtrack for Deadpool 3?
Seems
So they-
kind of early.
Well,
I don't like look into movies that I haven't seen yet till
No.
after.
it just showed up in my feed, so I mean I won't say anything because it's just a song that will appear in it, but it's meta, as we'd
Meta.
expect it to be.
Yeah.
The great thing about the horrible
Mhm.
thing about meta things is that after like 6 months of it being out, it's usually not that funny anymore.
I think this one will hold up
Okay,
as long
hopefully,
as you know who.
because
if
there's
you know-
sometimes where movies are like too meta and they'll make like
Yeah.
a reference, and then like 6 months later you're like, oh, that did not hold up.
Like
So, like, you can tell like
love it.
when they were filming it. You're like, oh, when they were filming it, they thought this was hilarious.
When it's done right, I love it. Like I took a Gothic literature class for my senior seminar in college, and the last book we read was about a girl studying Gothic literature. Which it was a great book. But like it was like that, like we could kind of compare it to that area of it as well. But after The Prestige, we have also from 2006. Got 2006 is on here.
That was a good year.
Yeah, it's the 300.
Nope.
So this is when Zack Snyder was good. Like this is like Zack Snyder's best work, and it's based on a graphic novel. So
Mhm.
like some of the sequences in the movie are actual like cells from the graphic novel. Like you can see
Nice.
the reference point. But this is also when Gerard Butler was like built like a brick shithouse. He's just huge in this movie, and he plays King Leonidas. And it's just a battle sequence movie. Like it's
Mhm.
just like he's the king of Sparta, and other people want his land, and he's like, "You're not getting my land," and he's like, "I'll kill you if you take my land," and a fight ensues, and that's your movie. So,
There you go.
but it's awesome. Like the action is top tier.
Right. Closing in now, our last 5 here. 2009, we have Inglourious Bastards.
Never seen it.
I have also not seen that.
See, this is the one on the list that I would want to watch with you guys to see reactions,
Okay.
because it's like
So I'll make
it's
make a note of that.
That and 300, because 300 is just like so fun to watch.
uh-huh.
But like Inglourious Basterds just has like epic sequences that I'm just like, you know, when you go to a movie with somebody, you've seen the movie or you watch it with somebody,
Mhm.
and then you get to just like watch the reaction of people.
Yeah, you're not
seeing
even
it.
watching the movie. You
You're
just
like,
constantly looking
oh
over it.
yeah, isn't that awesome? Like that's how.
And
I
then when they
feel
have no
about
reaction, you kind of die a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Mhm.
worst.
that. That's my favorite Tarantino movie of all of his. So
Ah,
I know the next one we do have a fan of. However, I have never seen it.
yes, 2010's Shutter Island, which I also have not seen.
also, this is like the 6th DiCaprio, and the next 2 are also DiCaprio. I sense
Uh-huh.
a theme there.
So I have seen Inception twice.
Still don't get
Uh-huh.
it.
I stand on the ground that anybody that claims this movie makes any goddamn sense, they're a liar and they're trying to prove and impress for no reason. However, it does not mean that I don't want to rewatch this movie and try to prove myself wrong again.
I have not seen it. I was in 4th grade when I first heard about this film from a good friend of mine who I'm still friends with today. And he described it, and I have not seen it, so I don't. As people who have attempted to watch this, maybe you can shed some insight on it. As people are dreaming, and when they die, they wake up from their dreams, but it's layered.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if it's dreams, it's not going to make sense.
No, but it's supposed to be like subconscious.
Yeah, it's the way it's layered that
Mhm.
makes it very convoluted, and it makes it
Yeah.
very tricky to follow. Because the second you think you're following along, like you think you know what's happening, something will happen, or it'll cut to the next scene, and you're like, "Wait, what the fuck did I miss a whole chunk of the movie?"
This is also Christopher Nolan too.
It is, yes.
So
do we think the top fell over or no?
I don't know. I don't know. I hate this movie, but I want to rewatch
is that
it.
a reference to the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like, when a movie does a thing where like, so at the there's like little, they call them totems.
Mhm.
You have to keep like a little object in your pocket while you go into
Okay.
dream states, because if you don't keep the object in your pocket, you won't know if you're in a dream or if you're in reality. Like your totem will come with you essentially. So DiCaprio's totem is like this little spinny thing. It's like a top. So at the end of the movie, when he's like supposedly in reality, he like spins the top. And if it falls over, he's supposed to be in reality. And if it doesn't, he's still in a dream. And it cuts to
Interesting.
black before you see if it falls or doesn't fall. But it starts
Okay.
to wobble. So you're like, oh, it's going to fall. But then it cuts to black. And of course, like Chris Nolan was super dodgy about it. He was like, it's up for you to determine.
Yeah, he's never going to answer that.
Yeah, so
Nice.
it's one of those like cool moments, but also like, fuck you, Chris Nolan. Like, why couldn't you just clarify that? So, because it's like this whole DiCaprio is like in charge of this team that's trying to. They basically get hired to go into Cillian Murphy's brain for him to like dissolve a company that his dad owns because they're doing like bad things, from what I remember. But like the backstory of it all is that DiCaprio is trying to get back to reality and get his kids back. Like there's so many layers. Yeah, it's really
I
complicated.
think it's kind of funny how Christopher Nolan just recycles
There's a
actors.
cat.
Oh yeah, there was a cat. They sneak down here every once in a while.
All right, then 2012 we have Django Unchained.
Wait, did we skip Shutter Island? Did you say Django Unchained?
What did you just say?
Yes, I did because I've never seen it.
Django.
Django. Okay.
The D is silent.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have known that since I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Aren't you an English major? You're supposed to know these things.
If you guys haven't picked up from now, I'm dyslexic, and I don't know how I got an English degree.
Oh man,
But no, I've never seen Django.
Django is like my second favorite Tarantino movie.
This is one that has also been recommended to me by a lot of people when
Also-
COVID was a thing.
Steve, we went through Shutter Island really fast because we know you've seen it, and me and Andrew have not.
Yeah, and I can speak to that just on the sense that a month or so ago now, when did we see Fury Road?
Like-
Probably a month.
A month ago.
But we
So
saw
a month ago,
Furiosa.
before we saw Fury Road, I took the boys on a hike and we got lost.
You sure did.
The cliff that I was intending to take them to was not always a cliff, it was a quarry. They took parts of that rock off to build the insane asylum where Shutter Island was filmed. Which is just a little fun fact. And so it's actually haunted there. Mad Max Fury Road is the last entry on our list. I will add 2024 there, and I will check off all three of us Glorious
No, that one's not
Bastards.
2024.
Yeah, Fury Road came out like 10 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Furiosa then.
Fury Road was 2015.
Thank you.
So have we seen every movie since 2015?
Apparently. Oh, wait,
I mean,
Colby, have you seen
Yeah.
Fury Road?
I go to the movies a lot.
so I have not seen Fury Road.
Okay, just
Um,
for the
I would-
sake of lists.
I would argue I've seen, I'd imagine, every like really big movie since like 2015, 2016.
Just gonna stop for a second.
There
Yeah.
might be one or two that I've missed that I can't think of, that we could certainly add to the list. But like, I feel like I've 2015, 2016 is when I started regularly going to the movies. Like it was like every other week I was seeing something. So I feel like I've kept up pretty well. There's definitely stuff in there that I just can't think of, but for the most part, I think I've seen most of the relevant stuff.
I'm just moving across the films that all of us have not seen.
Also, the list obviously subject to change. If there's anything in between that we haven't seen, anything that could be added. There's a lot of movies. Clearly from this list, there's movies that people might think we should have seen, i.e. like Aliens and stuff like Alien and stuff like that. So just because it's a really popular movie and you think we probably should have seen it, don't assume we've seen it.
Yeah,
I'm open to suggestions for anything.
absolutely.
So even if it sounds silly, that is like you're like, there's no way somebody has not seen this movie.
Yeah.
Still let me know, because there's always that chance that I haven't seen it.
But also, we've seen like every superhero movie or Star Wars movie for the most part.
Except for Acolyte.
Yeah,
You haven't watched Acolyte?
I stopped at episode 3.
I finished it.
I stopped 10 minutes into episode 3.
It didn't add anything to the Star Wars lore.
Nope.
The bad guy was kind of cool, but
I saw the clip from, I think, the last episode, the latest, the finale, where it was the creepy old guy peering around the rock.
it's supposed to be like Darth Plagueis, I think.
Everybody's like, oh, it's Darth Plagueis or whatever, and I still don't fucking care. Like,
Well,
I couldn't be bothered. I don't care.
They did a thing. They did the Star Wars thing that I thought they weren't gonna do, and I still got slightly excited. But then I was like, ugh, like you couldn't leave that alone, because
Yeah.
like half of the movie takes place around like a new set of Jedi that we haven't really hung out with, which is kind of cool.
It's supposed to be new characters in a new era we haven't seen.
Yeah, but at the very, are you gonna watch it?
Probably not.
At
Truthfully.
the very last scene before it goes black, like the new main Jedi who's in charge, who I can't even remember her name. Like she's green. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
She like goes into a room and she goes, "Master,
that.
we need to talk." And they like scroll down and it's Yoda. Like
yes, I did see that.
And I'm
So,
like,
oh, I heard about that. Yeah,
That's the thing. I haven't been keeping up watching the show, but I've been keeping up with like all the cameos and all the important stuff. So like, I am pretty much caught up. Like, I know everything that's happened. I just haven't
Yeah.
watched it myself. Yeah, no, I was surprised for so long that Yoda had not made an appearance. I'm like, knowing Disney Star Wars,
it's
there's
coming.
zero chance that he does not show up.
Yeah.
I was like, they threw Ki-Adi Mundi in there. They're gonna throw Yoda in there. There's no way they don't. And the fact that the first 7 episodes came out and I was like, nobody has said anything about Yoda. So I was like, I feel like they would have mentioned it if he showed up. But
Yeah. He
I
did.
was like, maybe they're not going to do it. And then last night or whatever, I saw somebody posted. I'm like, hey, fuck, of course they did. They couldn't just leave it alone.
They got to go back to the well that they know. I can't argue and say that I wasn't a little excited to see Yoda's little ears, because like apparently this is like the time when he's at like the height of his power. But I was
would be
also
cool
like,
if you saw his power, but
Yeah.
if you just showed his ear to show his ear, like, could
And
live
there's-
without it.
and they haven't even renewed it, so there's a decent chance we'll never see anything past that. So
so I just
That they're
made a
never
separate-
getting a full season ever.
it was just Amelia liked it because it was the two main characters were like 2 young girls. So like she was in it for that aspect of it, like,
It's great.
and she
Yeah.
loved it, and we had fun with it as a family, like watching it.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, it's Wednesday," I know it came out
Mhm.
last night, but I couldn't watch it. Like, it was kind of our Wednesday ritual.
And I think that's
That's
great.
nice. That's good to
I think
have.
that's
think
what they
that's-
want.
Which is fine, but like as the no life Star Wars fan that I am,
Yeah.
it's not for me.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah. So, I just made a little combined list of what we all three of us had not seen.
What do we got?
And we only have 8 entries.
It's not bad. That's a good
So
start.
we did a lot better than I thought we would. So I'm gonna share that. Then, do we want to? We could revisit this at another time. But we had discussed ranking these 8 just off of how excited we were and their reputations, like how they hold up in society there. So let me.
Yeah, why don't we
Share that
do
thing.
that and then like pick one to watch for next time?
That sounds good.
I'm down for that.
Cool. So, and we don't have to agree on all these lists here, which is why I gave us each columns here. But if there's one that let's do reputation first then. So of our entries here, we have Once Upon a Time in the West, Taxi Driver, Alien, The Thing, Groundhog Day, Schindler's List, The Pianist, and Old Boy.
So
So go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna start off this list by saying probably either from just like the references and pop culture reputation, I'm gonna go with maybe Alien.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like in
So-
like the horror universe, I feel like that's such like a staple movie to watch. Like I know The Thing is definitely up there too, but like I feel like Alien has so much more presence.
So I guess my viewing of this reputation thing is when I say the name, how familiar does it sound to you? Because to me, my top would be Schindler's List or Taxi Driver. But again, like we don't have to agree on these here, so I'm gonna number these that way we can do it that way. I'll get rid of the
Should we
years.
go from like bottom to top instead of top to bottom?
That's what I think would probably work better.
Because I saw Once Upon a Time in the West and automatically wanted to just throw it at the bottom. Like it's probably great, but I just read that and I was like, I don't want to watch a Western anytime soon. Like, I don't know if you guys feel that way in any.
I'm kind of
See,
with you.
I don't know. That's the thing. Like I don't know.
could be
what
great.
these-
It could be great.
the things that I have not like heard anything about will be at the end of my list.
Yeah, and that's why I put that there because I literally have never heard of it.
So, Steve, I can put that at the end of your list if you'd like. Over there.
Because we work our way from the bottom, I feel like that's easier.
Yeah.
That's definitely my bottom one. I was like immediately like,
Okay, so
I don't
I'll
want to
put
watch
that
that
down
anytime
as
soon. And it could be like one of those movies that I watch. And I'm like, wow, I've really been missing out on this for a long time.
70 years.
Yeah.
one.
It would take me
Alright,
all day to do what you're doing.
Yeah, nope. I'd be typing everything. I'd be going.
I think so. Just for
Cell by
listeners,
cell.
I have a new tab on my spreadsheet for reputation and anticipation. For when we get around to watching them there. So I don't know. I don't know. See, I think I gonna have to look at this list here, and I think for the bottom for myself, I would probably put Old Boy. Like I just don't know. I don't know that or The Pianist. Like if things that I'm familiar with that sound familiar to me.
I'd probably go same as Steve. Once Upon a Time in the West. I'd put that as my bottom.
Okay. I think that would probably. Now that I'm thinking about it, I had never heard of this movie before this list, so I'll just do that too. Make that
I
easy
think
for us there.
I would put Old Boy as my number 2.
At the top,
Towards the bottom, right above
Okay.
Once Upon a Time in the
like
West.
that.
Yet I immediately went pianist
Okay, so I'll put.
for whatever reason.
Pianist
I'm like trying to
center.
separate Schindler's List and the pianist because I feel like they're
Weird.
similar.
Yeah, so I was actually going to put The Pianist and then Schindler's List right above it.
So Schindler's List would go here for you, Colby.
No, The Pianist and then Schindler's
Oh.
List. I'm sorry.
Pianist is 7. So 7, 6, like that.
Yep.
Okay. And then Steve, do you have any other ideas working up?
I would probably put Groundhog Day next, just because I don't know. Bill Murray's never been my guy either.
Yeah.
I know how funny he is, but like, I don't know.
This is also the list for reputation and how it stands. So I think since we haven't seen these ones, they're probably going to be mixed in with our. This will be very similar to what we're anticipating as well, I think.
Where are you at with your second to last?
I would probably say Old Boy as well. And then I would put The Pianist as well. Then I think after that I would go The Thing. So I think I know my list. Mine would be Taxi Driver, Schindler's List, and then what numbers am I missing here? 3, Alien, and then 5, Groundhog Day. So that would be my list right there. I'll read these out after we get them.
To round off mine, I think from top to bottom, I think I'd have Taxi Driver, Alien, The Thing, Groundhog Day.
So, Groundhog is 5. So, Colby, Taxi Driver, Alien.
Yeah, I think it's a consensus that we should just watch Taxi Driver. I think that's the one I'm most excited about.
I like how Colby's list goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1.
You didn't realize that?
Yeah, because Taxi Driver I'm the most excited about. And then probably Alien. And probably The Thing.
You guys very similar lists over there.
Yeah. What's left?
And then Schindler's List and Old Boy.
No, Old Boy would be ahead for me. So 8 and then 6.
Okay.
So as far as my list goes, I feel like that would probably be in the order that I'd want to watch them in as well.
I think the same for myself, so I can just chuck this little box away. Unless, Steve, do you have a disagreement on that?
Nope.
Okay.
So it's definitely consensus that we're going to start with Taxi Driver.
Yes. And just so I can read them off for people listening, Steve's list goes Taxi Driver, Alien, The Thing, Old Boy, Schindler's List, Groundhog Day, The Pianist, and then Once Upon a Time in the West. Colby's list, very similar to that one, goes Taxi Driver, Alien, The Thing, Groundhog Day, Schindler's List, The Pianist, Old Boy, Once Upon a Time in the West. My list goes Taxi Driver, Schindler's List, Alien, Groundhog Day, The Thing, Pianist, Old Boy, Once Upon a Time in the West. So that's cool there. So by the time we film our next recording, I'm going to stop sharing that now. Our goal is to have watched Taxi Driver.
Which is free on Prime Video.
Beautiful.
Like I said, Prime Video really locking it in over there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Right. Cool.
Wait, can you go back to the list for a second?
Yes. 1 second. Go.
So, as I've stated, the purpose of this list is to try and even the larger list, not even just the ones we all have not seen, is try to broaden our library of films. Clearly, there's a lot of stuff on here that we probably should have seen that we haven't. And if anybody has any suggestions going forward, we will edit the list as we go.
Absolutely.
Well, I was just looking at it too, right? So in the first slot, we all said Taxi Driver. In the
Mhm.
second slot, we got 2 out of 3 for Alien.
Yep.
Third slot is 2 out of 3 for Thing. Next one is 2 out of 3 for Groundhog Day. Next one is 2 out of 3 for Schindler's List. Next one is 2 out of 3 for Pianist.
It's very, very
2 out of 3 for Old Boy, and then we
consistent
all agree.
here.
So we should probably just watch it in that
that
order
Yeah.
because it's
So
pretty consensus.
I'll write that.
on
I'll just
that.
put that down below.
Like, are we happy with that list or?
Yeah.
It's fine with me. And again, going forward or whatever too. So our goal will be to either watch one or more of these movies in between. It might not be every podcast that we get around to watching these or whatever.
Mhm.
The larger list, there's a couple movies like I know Steve said he wanted to watch like as a group, which would be kind of cool, like 300 and what was the other one?
The Departed.
The Departed. So like those ones, I would definitely.
Oh no, Inglourious Basterds. Sorry.
Oh, Glorious Bastards. I would definitely wait to see if we could watch those as a group or whatever. But some of the movies like me and Andrew haven't seen or whatever, or in between me and Steve or Steve and Andrew or whatever, I might definitely start trying to check some of those movies off my list. And as I do it, I will make note of them so that that way next time we have an episode or whatever, we can talk about it really quick or catch up
I'd
to
like
see
to-
if anybody has watched anything.
Just point out that the rewatch order is going to be Colby's exact list here.
Nice. Yeah, I think the only thing I switched up was 7 and 8. Really.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendation was Old Boy, and you guys didn't even know what that was at that point. So,
That's the only reason it's
Yeah.
as low as it is. I never.
Right.
and I've heard of it a bunch. I've never seen it. Never just one of those things I've never ventured into watching. Are you guys gonna go see Twisters?
I have a story for that.
Where to see it, to be honest with you.
It's supposed to be fun. I heard it was like a fun 2-hour movie that you'll see once and you'll be happy with seeing, and you'll move on.
I feel like, I would see it, but I feel like that's one of those movies I'll just like pop on Netflix when it comes out on digital. If I'm just bored one night and it's one of those nights where it's like I don't know what to watch, that's definitely one of those movies.
Well, it'll be on Netflix in like 2 months for free.
It
so-
sure will.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably be like 3 weeks from now. It'll be like stream at home.
Video on demand 2 weeks after theatrical release.
Then once we actually get around to that, I'll just do this ranking.
Good thing we have a technical wizard.
He's not only one of our producers, he's our technical producer as well.
We'd be
Oh, thank
screwed if I was on the other end doing this.
Me and Steve are just watching in awe.
Oh,
So-
man.
Once we get around to watching them, obviously, Taxi Driver will take our first spot because it'll be the first one there. Then we'll watch Alien, and then we can go through this here as we go through.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to take a picture of that, or I can send it to you later too? Just before I stop
You
sharing.
just sent it to us. I mean, I know Taxi Driver is the first one on the list. So.
Yeah, which it's not going to make a difference. Cool. So, my story with this Deadpool 3, as listeners may be aware, as I think I've mentioned this on every episode since discovering it, which was probably the inception of this podcast. I will be on vacation. I'm going to Alaska with my family, and I'm very excited about it. But I will be away for Deadpool 3. So, what I have done is taken a look at where I'm going in Alaska to find movie theaters near me where Deadpool will be released. So I can see it opening night and not have to succumb to spoilers or recency bias or expectations. And I've already talked to my mother. She knows I'm doing this, whether one way or another. But I was looking into theaters at the hotel, and I told Colby this the other day. One of the places near me, it has, what was it called? XD, like the XD theaters,
XD.
Yeah,
which I had never heard of prior to this here. Steve, you said there was one near you.
Yeah, there's like an XD theater, and it has an advertisement as like an IMAX experience.
Interesting. So
So
that was one of the options there. That would be for either opening night or actually it would just be for opening night because we're only at that place for one night.
It says an XD theater uses extreme digital technology to project movies. That's what it's. That's just what it is.
All right, it's AI generated.
It literally says
Um,
a movie theater that uses a technology called extreme digital. Cool.
Okay, say
Yeah,
no more.
I don't know what that means for the quality
So-
of the movie, but cool.
I need to pull this up for this next place that I found. It's so I have two days in the next dock point, where I could go see potentially. There's a theater 2 minutes from where we're staying, which is perfect. Except it's not playing Deadpool and Wolverine. It's I gotta find the name of the place. What was the name of it? Family Theater. Homer, that's what it was. Because it's Homer, Alaska. Homer Theater. And it's a family-run theater. Let's find the about section here. Good for kids there. So anyways, it says like now playing. If I go, it only has showings on the weekends. It's like a family-run theater, so it's not big. It's not something I think people would go to for opening night. So I checked the 28th to 29th of July, and they have only Twisters playing there at different times.
they're
So-
behind because they're
Yes,
Alaska.
so me being curious, I called just to see if they would be playing Deadpool and Wolverine. And I didn't get a response. I got an automated, it was like a voicemail. Like I called somebody's phone number. And it was like, and it was very personable. Thank you for calling Homer Theater. For current showings, we are currently showing this movie from this date to this date. This movie from this date to this date. Runtime, ratings. And that was it. Then they hung up on me because they weren't having an open inbox. And I'm like, okay, so ruling that place out. But if I get the chance, I just kind of want to see it because it seems very weird. I feel there's a picture of it from the outside, which I'm going to attempt to show here.
Mhm.
That'll open up.
It looks
You
like
can see there.
It looks like the
That's
place
exactly.
where the last time you ever get seen.
But so for reviews, it's got a lot of reviews, and it averages out 178 reviews. So I mean, not a lot, but not.
That's a good amount.
Well, that's
The-
like the whole population of that town.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And at the same time, the less reviews, the more legitimate it's going to be. I think, unless it's all spoiler people, but there's
I don't
178
know.
reviews.
I don't know if that checks out exactly, but
Let's see.
I'm gonna
Most
roll
relevant
with you on it.
most relevant review says, last day of our trip, we didn't plan much, so we decided to walk around this town and take our time to watch a movie. Theater is small but cute, clean and nice, and we enjoyed our time here. Newest review, always a great time, comfortable seating, great snacks, big screen, hopeful family-friendly staff. I'll definitely be bringing my family back again, thanks to this theater. And then now someone else says they have wonderful deals on Monday. I will only be there on a Saturday and a Sunday, so that does not pertain to me. But I pulled my sister into it too. She has not seen either Deadpool. I will be changing that in the coming week.
So I've got to imagine they've
Yeah.
got to have Deadpool screenings. It's literally
They
the
have to.
biggest movie of the summer.
Yeah, they
One
have
of the
to.
biggest of the year. Like, there's no
Arguably,
reason that they're not going to have screenings for this movie. And
for
there's
our
no way
Final
they're not
Fantasy
gonna have
list,
them
this is my number
on
one
time.
choice. Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, if
Well-
not, Andrew, you just can't go on the internet for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, you might
I
as well
mean-
just throw your phone into the water.
Because,
That's
like, there's zero
best
chance
option.
of you connecting to any type of cellular service without getting some spoiler.
what if they
on
show it on the cruise ship?
They might.
They won't, but like I mean, it's
I mean,
rated
you never
R.
know. Seriously though, they might. A lot of cruise
They
ships have
could.
like theaters and stuff.
Where do you? Sorry. Where do you have to
It's
fly
alright.
to go to Alaska?
Canada.
Alaska, idiot.
So I don't know about the flight going there, but coming home, it's Vancouver to Boston straight flight.
That's a long flight.
Yeah.
You're going to
They'll
Vancouver,
have, if you're lucky, they'll have Deadpool 1 and 2 on the plane.
eh?
So I just did a trip in Europe, which we didn't talk about it miraculously at all in this podcast, so I'm gonna bring it up now. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. McDonald's. So the past
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I wasn't sure either for a minute.
I'm loving it. The reactions. Haha. So the past couple of weeks, I was fortunate enough to do a trip of Europe. So I got to see some incredible sights. Very, very breathtaking views. I went to London, Paris, Amsterdam, Switzerland, Venice, Rome, Florence. Those were all the places. And in most of those places, I went to a McDonald's. Because one, I have a problem. Two, I was curious. And I had made a ranking. And I sent it to, I want to say I sent it to Cassie.
Wait, hold on. What are the places again? Let me try to see which one was the best.
So it was London, then it was Amsterdam, then it was Paris, then Switzerland, then it was Venice, and Rome. I didn't go to the one in Florence.
Switzerland.
I'm gonna say Switzerland had the best.
Switzerland.
So from what I experienced,
France was the worst.
Paris had the best.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Rome had the worst.
Yeah, no, Paris was the best. Sorry, I sent a lot of messages here. All right, because I had the ranking. All right. Okay. Maybe I don't.
Because I've had London McDonald's and it's not great.
So I don't. Maybe London was not London. Paris. I'm sorry. Paris was what I said had the best. I meant to say. Did I say Paris or London?
You said France.
Okay, good. Yes, that I meant that. Yeah. And so it was London. I don't have my list up, but I can try to remember now. Paris was the top. Switzerland was second. It was also the most expensive.
Makes sense. They care about their food
yeah.
there.
Yes, they do. That's true. And then London was. It wasn't like bad, but it was more American. Like it tasted more like that.
Did you get the traditional fish and chips like in the newspaper?
Not at McDonald's.
No, but just like in London.
While I was there, that was the first. Yeah, and it was honestly, it was like chicken and fries.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much what it was. It was good.
Yeah, I've been to London like 4 times now, so I've never been to any of those other places.
You have family there, right?
Yeah, my family lives in Manchester, which is like 2 hours from there.
Right.
But if you're gonna go to Manchester, like you might as well go to London if you're 2 hours away.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a great experience. The McDonald's was good. Yeah, Paris had the best. Switzerland was after that. Amsterdam was pretty good too. But so was Venice and Rome.
What was the best spot? Which one did you like the most?
Switzerland.
Not for McDonald's, just in general.
Yeah, and just in general, like I had expectations for a lot of those places, except for Amsterdam and Switzerland. And those two, I think maybe that helped.
What do you do in Switzerland?
I went paragliding. I'm sorry.
Because I wouldn't know like what they're known for, really.
They had just the views.
I was gonna say, I think it's just the natural scenery.
Yeah.
And to me, like that didn't appeal to me beforehand, but afterwards, like it was literally breathtaking. And so we did that. We went up into a mountain, like we went into an ice cave. It was really very cold up there. But it was cloudy the day we went, so we really couldn't take in much of the views from up there. But when the clouds like parted for like 3 minutes, because you're up there in the clouds.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was gorgeous. And like I said, I went paragliding. I have pictures of that. Which wasn't jumping off of a cliff. I don't know what I thought it was going to be. You're just kind of running down a mountain, and then you jump off. The person who went before me was the first one of our group to go and was the last one to land because they caught a gust of wind, and the pilot took that as an opportunity to go higher.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it was
That's terrifying.
a lot of fun. Muting myself because I've been coughing this whole time. So that was very, very fun experience. Did a cooking class in Rome, and yesterday I attempted to remake the pasta. We made the pasta from scratch, and I made the sauce from scratch. And I don't have much experience with cooking, but I guess I did a good job. My sister said it was the best thing she'd ever put in her mouth. So
Sorry.
she said she thought it was
Still
from my
immature.
aunt. No. She said I'll read you the conversation because I was out running errands for my parents today. And she said your pasta is the best fucking thing I've ever put in my mouth. And I said thanks. She said I thought it was Zia Yilmaz, our aunt, who was from Italy. She said, but I was better than Zia's. And then Mom told me that you made it, and then I choked. So I said, I'm happy you consider me choke worthy.
The context, that could be a wild conversation.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
I'm not gonna,
There's a
I'm
lot
not
of
gonna
that.
fill in
That's
any
what
other
she said in
context
there,
there
so.
that I could. So, yeah.
Colby, have you been anywhere?
No.
I leave
Look,
the
I'm a
state
teacher.
occasionally.
I got summers off. I gotta use them.
Yeah.
Listen. I don't go nowhere. I go from work to my house. That's it.
You haven't, but you go to Florida sometimes. Have you gone to Florida?
I'm supposedly supposed to go at the end of the summer. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I don't want to go anywhere other than I like my room. I
agree.
I got my big TV, all my games. I got my Lego. I got Pickle Brick.
Nice.
I mean, what else is there? I mean, when you just go to Europe, they don't like me anyway. So what do I want to go there for?
I'm working on getting dual citizenship for Italy because I got family over there. Just thought I'd share.
That seems like paperwork I don't want to do.
I'd rather just visit for a week.
I'm gonna see if my grandmother. I'll ask her for Christmas for her to hire someone to do it for me.
I'm assuming that's not easy.
No, it's not. I think they're imposing a language test soon, so I got to get it before that happens.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, I have the emotional. It's called the emotional sad Shell City scene from the SpongeBob movie in Italian. If y'all would like to hear it,
Go for it.
okay. Thanks. And I'll share the screen too, so you can. I haven't watched this here, so I'm imagining that this is what it's going to be like. Hopefully the audio will come through. Hang on, here goes. There we go. Can you hear that?
The heat is
Hear it.
Okay.
so intense
This
from
is
this
English.
lamp.
I was gonna say this in English.
So, all right. Well, I'll stop that then. Never mind.
Was
If
that
I
supposed
figure it
to
out,
be Italian?
yeah, was. Hang on. Can you still hear it?
No.
I have it playing in the background. We don't need to waste any more listeners' time here. You probably could have checked out of this about 25 minutes ago, but it won't stop us. So let me see here.
It wouldn't be one of our podcasts if we did.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I gotta go watch
Settings.
Taxi Driver.
Right this second?
No, probably not.
That's bold.
I might watch it tomorrow. I have time.
Yeah.
Or 2 hours before we record.
In like 4 weeks.
It's
Yeah.
1 hour and 54 minutes, so
And it'll go a month will go by and then we'll make plans to record and then everybody's gonna be like, shit, we all forgot to watch this movie.
all right, bye guys.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
a brisk drop off. Bye bye.